Okay, so today your daily dose of a Joker planet, because for some reason you can't say the other phrase. Natalie Portman's show has to stop because of unlicensed pharmaceutical dealers blackmailed her and her crew to the tune of $50,000 to keep filming there, or they would delete them. And interesting. What are they filming? Some movie based on a book that Portman is the actress and Lipman is the author. She wrote this book set on the 60s, some piece of Bolshevik liberal propaganda about advancing Baltimore's POC progressive agenda. So it's this fantasy world of Lipman, and it's played out in this fantasy world of Natalie Portman, set in Baltimore, of course. You go, so okay, hey, 50 years of these left-wing policies. How well has that worked out for Baltimore? Well, not so well. The first 6 months of 2022 were the most dangerous in the history of the city, according to the paper. Through July, 180 people were deleted. And I mean, it's is it funny? Yeah, it kind of is, because they're doing this to themselves. Not the puppets. The puppets don't know what they're doing, but the puppet masters are doing this because one of the goals is to remove the Second Amendment. Instead of addressing the actual problem, they sidestep that a little bit because these people will never go elephant hunting. And if you think the left and the rhinos and the left and the right, no, they're all on the same team. They're all just wings of the same bird. That was used to be I didn't understand that a long time ago when older people would say that, and now I understand that now. It's like, oh, they really are wings. No, there's nobody in office on your side. If you're on the left, there's nobody in office that represents you. And if you're on the right, this is at the stage, they go, this is late stage capitalism. Yeah, well, late stage Weimar is how I would put it. Whatever you want to call it, that's fine. Where they're looting the treasury. They're trying to get as much U.S. dollars out and convert it into something that will withstand the crash better. Like, both sides are doing this. You don't get politicians worth millions of dollars through honest participation, and that happens both on the left and the right. At this point, you can look at both and go, yeah, there's really nobody in office, and yeah, that includes Trump and DeSantis, or even Rand Paul, you think represents us. No, take a little bit closer look. And those are the guys on the right. Don't get me wrong, the left is much, much worse, but they're both bad, and neither one of them rises to the level of representative republic. Like, they're both bad to the point of, yeah, you need to wash them all away and start over fresh. They're fiddling and looting the treasury. Both of them. You don't get Nancy Pelosi worth $140 million, honestly. And that's bad enough, right? But what's worse is that nobody in office on her side or on the Republican side are doing anything about it, because they're also looting the treasury. While that dollar USD still has some value, they're going to convert it to precious metals or businesses' land, or move it overseas to another currency. But so your left-wing policies in 50 years hasn't actually worked out too well for you. So what's the solution? Well, we're just going to double down on it. So Lipman and Portman have this fantasy world where they hate the police, and they really hate European people, especially men. And they push the Defund the Police thing. So here's the thing that happened before that happened, because not every city that talked about that did that. But what happened was just as bad, because just talking about that was the final straw for a lot of cops in these cities. They said, oh, we're just going to quit and go to another city that wants us, or go move to that city. Like, it's a red state, red city that will hire us, eventually go do something else before we get hired. So they quit. Like, all these blue city police departments are down hundreds of cops, which is very, very serious for these blue cities. They're discovering, oh, we're in deep trouble. What is the Simpsons meme? Like, I'm in trouble now or something? Oh God, yeah. So the city might or might not ever actually decrease funding. Some did, to be fair, and now they're discovering. Like, I heard some news report that go, yeah, it'll take 4 years to build up the police again, because it's really hard to hire new cops. You're like, oh, you guys are in deep trouble. Kevlar and Glock Extendo. Extendo is pretty much the way to go. I don't know if Kevlar is light enough to wear on a daily basis. I mean, or run for the hills, but it's like, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. Oh, we're leaving California. Yeah, but wherever you go, you vote for the same thing, because the suicidal altruism of these Western people who are just hard hard to take without a lot of spicy language. The thing is, the cops heard that thing, and which they knew which way and the thing is, with these left wing people, it's like the empty can rattles the most, to quote Metallica from the 90s. They're evil, and they can't help themselves, and everything they touch, they destroy. The Lipman and the Portman, this fantasy world of BlondManBad, and it's like, so every policy you have based on that false premise is going to be poison. It's going to be fruit of the poison tree. Anyway, so cops knew which way the wind was blowing, and they left those cities, and those cities are just in the deepest of trouble. Go subscribe. Go on YouTube and subscribe to like 50 ABC local news affiliates on YouTube, like Oakland, San Jose, whatever, Miami, all the major cities in America, and the local news affiliates. Follow them for a month. Watch the news clips for a month. You'll know what's going on, and it's just as I mean, nothing could be more serious. There's this own internal. Stuff like this, no, it cannot continue for long before. Anyway, so what happened was Malum in say activity increases. The left wing still hates cops and the beautiful people of the light, people like you and I. But it's not them that are causing the problems. You know this, I know this, and everyone knows this. But the wokes will blame pox on pox, maliciousness on European people. Why? Because otherwise they have to take responsibility, and that they will not do. So let me say something a little bit crazy. The left wing cannot fix their cities, the homelessness, the crime, all that stuff, because the left wing narrative is that blonde man is bad, and we have the non-blonde people have no agency. They're not ships captains of their own fate. They want to end police and close the jails. There's a percentage of the left that legitimately go, oh, when we signed, some of the left goes, when we, they're trying to back out of this now. They go, we defunded the police. We didn't mean to defund the police. And there's other people on the left that go, yeah, we said defund the police. We mean defund the police. There's a lot of them that legitimately mean that. So there's no, like the people on the right or the moderate, you're going to have to realize you can't, there's no point in talking to these people because they're crazy people. You can't meet in the middle when the middle is you have irreconcilable differences. Yes, irreconcilable differences. The point of, a dissolution of this system is better than to continue on this path to turn it into a left-wing policy would result in Liberian warlords controlling cities. I mean, you saw like 2 or 3 weeks of the Chaz, and there was 6 shootings in the Chaz in like 2 weeks, and I think 3 people died. If they suddenly push for law and order, it would be a huge admission that their core dogma is wrong. So they're not going to do that. They can't do it. They cannot fix these cities. It might be the start of an avalanche of an admission that everything they built on was false. So no, I don't think that they can fix their cities. Like, no, a federal crime bill is not going to turn this around. This isn't going to turn around without something outside the system. By that I mean like people kind of forming groups to take control at a more local level. So how carefully can you say that? The puppet masters don't want to fix this. The goal was always destruction. So it doesn't matter if it's in Europe or America. When the right wing gets control, things continue to devolve, because they don't want to. The goal was never to fix things, so it doesn't matter if it's right or left run. It's not the rhinos, whether or not you're in Europe or America, the right wing in name only type of thing. It's all of them. They all want this. The left and the right is on the same path. The right is not the right because they're not conservatives. They move to the left slowly. The left moves to the left more quickly. So when people go, yeah, they're not conservatives. They're both left wing. It's just at different velocities. What do they think would happen with these left-wing policies? This kind of soft on crime policy. It's like, well, you've been doing it for decades in these, all right, you want to call them blue cities? You want to deflect? Fine, call them blue cities. Fine. Oh, things just get worse and worse and worse. You keep, they keep voting for the same policies. You continue the same behavior, and you get the same results. Like, oh yeah. What did you think was going to happen? Oh, well, but the media the media said something different would happen. Yeah, the media lied to you. I mean, at some point you got to realize, like, oh yeah, the media, it's all garbage. It's all just bullshit propaganda. So people like Portman have this narrative to push European, the people who light are bad. The thing is, that's not in accord with reality. European Americans, people of light, awesome, absolutely, there's top-notch people. That's the stark reality, but the left is operating on this false construct based on emotion built promise. She mentions the concept of her privilege. That's a Bolshevik manipulation tool to control social behavior through fear. It's false, and everything that flows from that false core is going to fail and will continue to fail until you admit that the premise is false. Portman's privilege didn't rob and kidnap her crew or blackmail the crew. Nothing changes until people wash off decades of Bolshevik propaganda coming from this critical theory in the schools and the complete 100% globalist control of the media. You're going to have to wash all that off. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but you can do it. It's going to take a few months to start that path. But the thing is, you can, like 20 years ago, it would have taken years. Now you can kind of do it in weeks because we have Odyssey, Gab, Bit Chute, Telegram. Like if you really want to go down the path of, like you really want to go down the red pill path, you can do it. Seriously, probably in like 2 weeks. But Portman lives in these, she lives in gated estates with armed guards. So she says words, she espouses policies that are lies, but then she goes back to her mansion behind a wall where guys with their own liberty devices are there to protect her from the results of the things that she pushes. Like everything Hollywood says and does is a lie designed to destroy society. They've built on those lies for so long that they believe them. Be careful here, Bianca. It's really, fuck me, I won't say it. Okay, so they really don't understand why they can't film safely in Baltimore. Somehow it has to be a blonde man's fault, which it obviously isn't. And the longer you don't address the problem, it just continues to get worse. America as a whole is not going to make it because half the country or more, actually by this point, they don't want to leave cultural Marxism behind because then they have to take responsibility. And, it's, almost like leaving YouTube, I guess, will be, easier. But I mean, YouTube's interesting because it's like you're forced to work with it. It's like you're forced to a PG rating. It's kind of makes you, I guess, more creative a little bit. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Subscribe Star. Thanks for the recent members there. It's $2.23 a month. Yes, I thought I was being cute. In hindsight, I recognize that perhaps that was not the wisest. Maybe I should just lower that to something like 222. Actually, that's another caliber. There's pretty much calibers in there's pretty much calibers like in every possible permutation you could think of, because there's people who specialize in hunting. Like for your area has a certain size of deer, so somebody builds like a 222 or something, or some bizarro like, oh, we're gonna build a 218. It's useful for this one specific deer. It's like, yeah, why don't you just stick like a standard caliber so everyone can have like a standard. I don't know why there's a period in American liberty device history where people were like doing this, like, yeah, every caliber needs its own barrel and receiver. It's like the cost for people is really dumb. It's like stick with like just one intermediate 308 or 30-06 caliber. Even then they went from 308 to 30-06. It's like, just fucking pick one and stick to it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next episode.